So, I kind of forgot to make this video 2 days ago when, the update came out, but better late than never, right? So as you guys know, they did give out the free companion spirit for you to either use on a standard character, the old 2 limited characters that were added when the whole thing was added, and now Topaz. And so today I wanted to make a video talking about Topaz, how she's been holding up compared to previously, what's kind of like replaced her, and if you should go pick her up or not, whether you have her or you don't. So Topaz was one of probably the most interesting releases in the game back when she did release in 1.4. She released for a niche, being the follow-up niche that didn't really exist at the time. It only really became a thing when Dr. Ratio was given out for free 2 patches later. And there was a whole thing where, Topaz herself investing would mean playing the long game or whatever, in victory. But I don't remember the exact saying on top of my head. And it was funny because their value kept getting better and better and better. Ratio, she was with that team, and Ratio was one of the best DPS in the game. And she would work perfectly with him, and she also had good vertical investment early options, like her E1 was insane for follow-up teams, technically still is really good, and then her light cone is still really good. She did receive some competition when we did get to the more mid-half of the 2.x era, so like 2.4-ish. We had Hunt March 7th, and we also had Moze that came out with Feixiao. Both of them were actually competitive with Topaz, sometimes being better, sometimes being worse, it really depended. If you had an E1 S1 Topaz, obviously she would usually always do better, but like Hunt March 7th would do better in APOC. Moze actually did better in Zero Cycle circumstances. But yeah, pretty much all of them were like kind of going against each other. But for the longest time, Topaz was the more general option. She also had a rerun by then and had a second one really quickly, I think. And because of that, a lot of people that cared about follow-up attacks might have already had her light cone, and also her E1, because again, it's still good. But unfortunately, Topaz, the downside is she was one of the earlier limited characters, so her kit is outdated, her damage is outdated. She was designed always to be a sub DPS, which was fine, like her damage as a sub DPS was good, but it's not good anymore. Especially with how the damage is now for sub DPSs. Take a look at someone like Cypher, which funny enough we'll talk about in a bit. And then even sustains. She really just can't keep up when it comes to damage. Her actual contribution on the follow-up team, which the new one and new quote-unquote, the best one you'd use now is with Feixiao. On that team, she really doesn't have she still has a spot there, but she doesn't go on there, like she's not the best anymore. But yeah, time hasn't been too nice on her just because, again, like her kit is on the outdated side, and the only way to make her last longer would be like E1, S1, so on. And even then, just because of her damage being outdated and her multipliers being on the lower side, that is what the problem is. So nowadays we do again have the March 7th option and the Moze option, which honestly do better than her nowadays. And not only that, we had the introduction of Cypher, who is just better than all of them pretty much. Since Cypher also works perfectly with Feixiao, good follow-up attack frequency, good attack frequency, sub DPS damage is way better. And to top it all up, if your follow-up team is doing good damage, Cypher's ultimate at the very end that you save up for a nuke is going to do a lot of damage. So the overall damage that Cypher contributed compared to Topaz was that Cypher just did a lot more. And because of that, she kind of just got booted off. So if you had Cypher, you really had no reason to use Topaz. The only time where Topaz could be better is specifically for E2 Feixiao, just because Topaz has more frequency. Numbi would attack more and then Topaz herself, so when you built a really fast Topaz, you'd get more frequency than Cypher. E2 Feixiao gets a full charge for a follow-up attack, and because Numbi would attack more and her basic attack for Topaz counts as a follow-up attack, that's how you can get more charges for Feixiao. So in that case, it could be better. But if you had the same investment on a Cypher, like a E1 S1 vs ES S1, just because the big nuke at the very end for Cypher, and Cypher just has better vertical investment, better damage, all that stuff, it really just outweighed that fact. So because of that, Cypher usually just ended up being the better option and kind of is just like the definitive best for that team now. And so Topaz just kind of has it rough. Something you do want to consider is because Topaz is old and relatively outdated, she is always on the chance to get buffed. You can't lean too much into this just because we haven't gotten a second case announced, we haven't gotten any second info for like the next patch of Nova Flare, which is the buffs. It's still just been the 4 that originally got it, and we haven't had any word since. But she is old and she is outdated, and so she definitely is on the higher priority to get buffed. Some people think because she got added to the shop, she won't get buffed, but I really don't think that's the case. I think they just added her because she does definitely still have her use, and she is relatively popular. So I really just think they added her to add her. I don't really know what they're thinking when they come to add these, because we got Luocha, which was like on like the more whatever side. Then we had Ron May, who was still really good and still is. And then we have Topaz, who is a little bit more outdated, but I don't really know what the plan is, but more or less she still is in the selections to get buffed. Like she's not the only one there, like there's Argenti and so on, but she definitely is one to consider. Now, if you should actually use the token, which is the main point of this video, should you use that free token on Topaz, or should you save it or use it on someone else even? Obviously, I'm not going to talk about whether you should use it on someone else or if you should save it, mainly because, you know, it's up to you if you want to use it or not. This is mainly to help you decide if you want to pick Topaz or don't. So, there is this one core question. If you do not have any form of follow-up team, don't bother. It's not worth it. You're not going to really use her on any other team. She is only on those teams. Outside of it, there are like Topaz hyper carries that probably still can clear in some cases, but unless you have high investment in your supports, don't bother. Especially at E0, S0, if your Topaz would be E0, S0 and you don't even have like a follow-up team, I would not bother. Another case is if you use ratio or you want to use ratio and you want to get Topaz for ratio, I wouldn't do that either, especially again, lower investment. My personal opinion would be save that for maybe someone that still could be used, or I guess if she does get buffed, but in that case you could just wait till she gets buffed. Lower investment side, let's say maybe E0 or E0 S1 ratio, E0 S0 support and sustain, and then you'd have an E0 S0 Topaz. I would not bother, I would just save it. So in those two cases, I would just recommend you to not use them at all. Just save it. If she gets buffed in the future, you'll still have it. It's not going to expire. Just save it in those cases. Now, if you're someone that has facial, has the want to use her a lot, maybe she's slightly invested in, maybe you just want to use her more, you can definitely still consider Topaz. She still works. She's not going to be the reason your facial team is going to go from like, oh, I'm struggling to clear to, oh my god, it's so easy to clear now. That's more of a job for someone like Cypher. Cypher is going to make a lot bigger of a difference. But Topaz can be someone considered only if you want to dedicate yourself to that team. If it's an archetype you want to pick up and get dedicated with it. In that case, you could also just save for Cypher technically, but you can use Topaz in the meantime. Cypher's out soon anyways, but let's say maybe you don't have enough pulls, maybe your pull plans are just messed up, maybe you want to pull Final instead, so on. In cases you wouldn't be picking up Cypher and you just want to use a free thing to have Topaz to use on that team, then you still can consider it, because again, she still could get buffed. And then another case for people who could use it would be if you already have like an E0 S1 Topaz, because her light cone is still good. If you can get her E1, it's going to be a good upgrade. Let's say you still use facial ratio to clear in these days, or maybe they're like benched a bit, but you want to use them to clear again, and you can get E1 for Topaz. It is a good dupe still. And it will definitely be a mark you could feel. So if you do already own Topaz and you want to get the E1 to make her better, then you definitely should consider it. And for someone like that, and maybe you don't like Cypher, you don't want to get Cypher, or maybe again you have to wait till a rerun and you want to use this in the meantime, then yes, you could actually end up using it. Now here at the very end, I just want to add this small section, my personal opinion, what I think you should really do, like regardless of your situation. For anyone that is slightly considering to get her, personally, I would say just wait, because I think she's not really a character worth using that on, especially if you either don't have Ruan Mei, don't have E1 Ruan Mei and such. But in like most cases, I would just recommend waiting, because there's no telling that when she's going to be buffed. If her buff's going to be good, it probably will be considering its buffs. But yeah, personally, I just recommend waiting until they announce the next set of buffs. It could be in a while, but again, the token or the companion spirit is not going to expire. So you're going to be able to actually hold on to it, meaning you can hold on to it until they finally announce the buff, whether that's in 2 patches from now, 5 patches from now, 10 patches from now, you'll still have that token. So I personally recommend for most people, if you want to have a general advice from me, is to just hold it. Even if you want to get back into the team and you can't pull Cypher, or maybe you already have the follow-up team and you want to get E1 Topaz. Personally, I would hold it just because she is a character that definitely can be buffed soon and could potentially be next to be buffed. While her E1 and stuff like that definitely can help you clear with the face shot team and such now still, I still personally would just wait. It's just something I think you should do. But yeah, that does wrap up the video. I do hope you found it helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of style content. Check the description to join the Discord, and also check out my Arknights channel, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Why are you still here? The video's over. You're still here, bro. Congrats, you just wasted like 20 seconds of your life. Anyway, see ya.